Hey Divi Nation, thanks for dropping by our documentation to learn all about Divi's layout and typography customizer settings. So some of the most important settings that you're going to configure on your website are the general or global layout and typography settings, because they're going to set the tone for just about every page of your website. And in this video, we're going to walk you through those options and kind of give you an idea of not only how to configure them, but some best practices as well. Check it out.
In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Divi's layout and typography settings within the theme customizer. The layout settings allow you to adjust those high-level sizing and spacing options for your website, and you could do things like change the spacing between columns and rows and sections. You can even adjust the size of your sidebar and also enable a boxed layout if you want. The typography settings allow you to adjust the default appearance of your text across the entire website. This includes options like font style, color, size, line height, letter spacing, and you can even choose from hundreds of different fonts. Let's go ahead and jump in and take a closer look at the layout and typography settings together. To find your layout settings within the theme customizer, you first need to go and deploy your theme customizer. You can find that in the back end of your WordPress dashboard, and you navigate to Divi and then theme customizer. Once you're there, you'll see this panel here with all of your options. You're going to go to general settings and then layout settings. The layout settings allow you to adjust those broad, wide-ranging spacing elements of your website. And one of those options include this first one here to enable a box layout. So if I click that, you can see, now I've changed the look of my site in just one click, and I'm exposed an additional background color here that my website now is going to be sitting on top of in a box format. You could also adjust the content width. That would be the default content width for all of my web pages on my website. And this, of course, would also apply to using the Divi builder as well. So all of your, rows and the content within those rows will automatically adjust to this content width. And you can see how easy it is to adjust it with this little dial here. You can see that inner container here that holds my content will change. Let's go back to the default. And you can also override this default content width whenever you're adding, full width modules and things like that using the Divi builder. The website gutter width refers to the distance between your columns. So, for example, if I scroll down to this 4-column row here, if you notice there's some white space in between each of my photo modules here. And if I adjust my gutter width from a 3 to a 4, you'll see that increases. And then if I shrink it down to a 2, you'll see I have less space, and then a 1 would be essentially no space in between. So you can set that default gutter width here. This next option is to use a custom sidebar width. This refers to the default WordPress sidebar that you see whenever you're not using the Divi builder. So if I were to go to this page here, you can see that this is just a standard WordPress page. I'm not using the Divi builder, and I have this kind of default sidebar that shows up because I have a right sidebar in my layout by default. And I can go to my selection here to use custom sidebar width, and then I can adjust that sidebar width here. The section height option here allows you to adjust the heights of your sections by giving them some additional spacing at the top and bottom of each of those sections to increase the spacing of your website. If I wanted to increase that spacing, you can see that my spacing at the top and bottom of each of my sections will grow, adding some additional padding there. And you can see that if I bring it down all the way to 0, and they're at their shortest that they can be. Let's go back to the default. Same thing can be done for your rows. So the rows would be the that building block within the larger section, and you can increase the height of your rows, thus giving your site more spacing or less. This ranges all the way down to 0, and you can see that I have no spacing between my rows if I do that. And this theme accent color is really important, and it's important that you actually adjust this color first before you make any other color adjustments within the theme customizer. And that's because this color will automatically adjust other options, other color settings within the theme customizer. So it's very convenient to go ahead and make, if you know your secondary color for your theme, to go ahead and update it here and just kind of make the adjustments after that. And this will change things like if I go down to my navigation settings and I go to my primary menu, you'll see the default theme accent color will be used for your active link colors, your drop-down menu line color. There's like, I think, close to 20 other places where a color is going to be changed when you update your theme accent color. All right, so that takes care of our layout settings. Let's go over to our typography settings. To find the typography settings, you'll find them underneath your general settings from the theme customizer, right under your layout settings. Click on typography, and you can see that this addresses all of my broad scale text options or text customizations. And this includes options for my body text, header text, and also my links here. If I wanted to give my site a default body text of 16, maybe I think 14 is too small, I can do that. And you can see it, adjust on your site globally. Now, make sure though, if you start to make adjustments here from the theme customizer, and you don't see those changes taking effect on your website here, it's probably because you have a module that has the design settings that are overriding what you have set in the theme customizer. So if you have a new layout, for example, like this is a fashion layout here, and you want to regain the control of adjusting all of these elements using the theme customizer, then you will need to go into the design settings of these modules and just restore the defaults for those, so that we can then come to the theme customizer and make those adjustments globally. That'll make it easier in the future if you wanted to make broad scale changes. So I could, of course, adjust the body text. I could give it a line height change. I could also adjust my header text size, my default header text size. And of course, letter spacing as well. I could also adjust the line height of my header, along with making it bold, italic, or uppercase, or even underlined. And of course, I could always change the default font. This is a crucial step in setting up your theme, to establish a header font and a body font. I'm going to select Playfair Display for my header font. And for my body font, I'm going to use Poppins. My body link color will be inherited from my theme accent color, but I could override that and change it to whatever I want here. I could change my body text color. Maybe I want to give it a little bit darker. and also header text color. And that concludes our overview of the layout and typography settings within the theme customizer.